Organization creates tiny house community for homeless teens. Many people think that the tiny house movement is a fad, but this program shows how tiny homes can be a stepping stone that helps troubled young people find stability. Every year, teenagers turn 18 and find themselves with no place to go. Many age out America's foster care system. All of a sudden, they lose the safety net that had met their basic needs. Many of the teenagers go through this, having trouble finding stability due to their hard upbringings. But one program in Oklahoma may become a model for the future. It gets homeless teenagers into tiny homes. One of the young people who have been helped by this program is Carter. When Carter turned 18, he left the foster system. Soon, he found himself in a homeless shelter. After that, he ended up on the couches in his friends' homes. Carter had no relatives who could help him out. His father was serving time in prison, and his mother was deceased. Luckily, someone connected him to Pivot, the nonprofit that builds and manages tiny homes for teenagers. Now that Carter has a permanent home, he is able to focus on making his life better, which in turn will give him life skills and employable skills. For example, he's currently focusing on learning how to cook and how to budget. The tiny home may not seem like much to most people, but for Carter, it is amazing. He is so happy to have a real bed instead of a couch. He is also amazed to have something as simple as a coffee machine. Pivot built the homes right behind its offices. This means that those who are currently living in the homes are able to access Pivot's other services, such as clothing, food, and therapy. The tiny homes are designed to help teenagers gain a foothold in society. For instance, for the first month, they pay no rent for living in the home. Then they pay $100 a month for the next 3 months. Eventually, the rent stabilizes at $150. Pivot was able to build the tiny homes thanks to a range of donations from companies and the help of volunteers. The first 3 tiny homes opened in 2019. Pivot then began expanding the tiny home community. Eventually, the charity hopes to build 85 homes. Pivot's president, Jennifer Goodrich, also hopes that others follow her nonprofit's example. Who knows, perhaps in future years, no teenager will face homelessness thanks to tiny homes. If there's one thing that's certain, it's that homeless young people do need more support. In America, 3.5 million people aged between 18 to 25 experience homelessness every year. That's a shockingly high figure. It's also shameful to think that this is the case in a country that's as wealthy as America. Carter's story shows what can happen when homeless teenagers are given the support they need. Carter had been failed by so many people in the past, but in the end, Pivot gave him the chance to build a life. Please share this with your friends and family.